before plague swept through cities, before war turned kingdoms into ash, before humanity feared the underworld, there was the sun, not the gentle light of dawn, not the warmth that nurtures life, but the brutal sun, the burning heat that scorches the earth, the kind that dries rivers, kills crops, and leaves entire civilizations desperate beneath the sky. Ancient Mesopotamians believed that destructive force had a god behind it. His name was Nergal, also known as Era or Ira, the god of war, death, pestilence, destruction. But Nergal was not evil in the simple way people often imagine. He represented something much older, a terrifying truth about existence itself. That creation and destruction are inseparable because every civilization, every empire, every human life exists under the constant possibility of collapse, and Nergal embodied that collapse. In his earliest origins, he was associated with the blazing summer sun, the afternoon heat at its most merciless, when the land cracked beneath drought, when crops withered before harvest, when survival itself became uncertain. And this symbolism mattered deeply because the same sun that gives life can also destroy it. The same force that nourishes existence can become unbearable when uncontrolled. Nergal became the embodiment of that destructive intensity, a divine fury burning across the world, and over time, that fury evolved. By the era of the great Mesopotamian kingdoms, Nergal transformed into something far greater than a seasonal force. He became the universal god of death and war, the living embodiment of devastation, the god present when cities fell, when plague spread through crowded streets, when armies marched toward slaughter, when human beings realized how fragile life truly is. And perhaps that is why his imagery feels so overwhelming. Nergal was often depicted striding forward, powerfully, his foot crushing another human beneath him, not out of cruelty alone, but symbolism. Because destruction advances relentlessly, it does not ask permission. It does not wait for comfort. And in his hands, he carried weapons of terrifying authority. Mace topped with double lion heads, a curved scimitar associated with conquest and bloodshed. The lion itself became one of his sacred symbols, alongside the bull, two creatures representing overwhelming force, dominance, natural power beyond human control. Because Nergal was not meant to feel civilized, he represented raw, destructive reality, the chaos beneath order, the violence hidden beneath peace, the inevitable collapse hidden beneath prosperity. And that is why ancient people feared him, but also respected him, because destruction is terrifying yet unavoidable. War reshapes history, disease reshapes populations, death reshapes every life. Nergal governed all of it. But here is where his symbolism becomes far more interesting. Because, despite his terrifying nature, people frequently invoke Nergal for protection. At first, that seems contradictory. Why pray to a god of death? Because ancient people understood something modern minds often avoid. The force capable of destruction is also the force capable of defending against it. Power recognizes power. To survive chaos, sometimes humanity turns toward the very energy it fears. And that duality makes Nergal fascinating. He is both destroyer and protector, a force capable of devastation, but also capable of shielding humanity from even worse devastation. Because in ancient Mesopotamia, the world was never viewed as safe. Existence itself was unstable. One drought, one war, one plague could erase generations. Nergal represented awareness of that reality, not comforting illusion. Reality. And perhaps that is why he feels so psychologically powerful even now. Because human beings still live beneath invisible threats, conflict, disease, collapse, loss. People try to ignore these realities, but deep down, they know life can change instantly. Nergal embodies that uncomfortable awareness, the understanding that control is fragile, that civilization itself stands on unstable ground, and this darker symbolism becomes even more intense when we look at his connection to the underworld. Nergal eventually becomes linked with Ereshkigal, the queen of the land of the dead. Their union symbolizes something profound, the joining of destruction with death itself. And yet their relationship is not only violent, it is emotional, complex, almost tragic. Because beneath Nergal's destructive image, there is also passion, desire, intensity, like a wildfire capable of both warmth and devastation, and that duality exists within humanity too. The same energy that fuels ambition can fuel destruction. The same fire that creates greatness can consume everything. Nergal represents unchecked intensity, power without restraint, but also the necessity of confronting harsh reality instead of hiding from it. And maybe that is why his mythology still resonates, because every person eventually encounters moments ruled by Nergal. Moments where life becomes brutal, chaotic, painful. Moments where the illusion of safety disappears completely. And in those moments, people discover who they truly are. Nergal strips away weakness the same way fire strips away impurity, violently, completely, but honestly. In the end, Nergal is not simply a god of death. He is the embodiment of destructive truth, the scorching force that reminds humanity that nothing lasts forever. Not kingdoms, not power, not comfort. And perhaps that realization is terrifying, because deep down, everyone knows the fire eventually comes. The question is, when destruction enters your life, will it consume you or transform you?